This time, we'll call to order the regular City Council meeting for February 28th, 2022. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lisa, let the roll call show everyone is present. And we'll move on to the approval of City Council minutes, February 14th, 2022. Councilmember Kennedy.
I'll move the minutes.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Approval of tonight's agenda.
I'll move the agenda.
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Tonight's consent agenda. Councilmember Kibble.
I'll move the consent agenda. I'll second.
Just for public record, on the consent agenda this evening is the Memorial Day Parade and the reappointments for several of our commissions that I am going to read their names. Steve Mosier, Planning Commission. Scott Lanham, Planning Commission. Steve Mosier, ZBA. Brian Dunn, ZBA. Ryan Densky, ZBA. Denise Simeon, Parks and Rec. Diane Beagle, Parks and Rec. Jody Van Dunen, Parks and Rec. Phil Weipert, Historical Commission. Rich Perry, Cable Commission. Ken Mahalik, Cultural Arts Commission. Gary Fagan, DDA. Derek Mashburn, DDA. And Jean Carroll, DDA. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? We'll move on to public comment this evening. Please remember to state your name and address, and remember we have a 2-minute time limit. We will close the floor for public comment. Move on to the discussion of downtown with Mr. Nate Mack.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Council. The first thing I wanted to discuss was the South Lyon Carnival event that's taking place this Saturday. We're pretty excited for it. We got all the marketing materials out. We've got a Facebook, I boosted a Facebook post online, so that's going to be reaching even more people. We've got flyers in stores. We've got specials from all the bars and restaurants in the downtown area that are participating, as well as our sponsors that will be setting up on the day of the event. We've got 3 food vendors that will be there. The first one is going to be Reno's Hot Dogs. The second is Detroit Spun Sugar. And the third, okay, drawing a blank. There's one more.
Donut.
Mini Donuts, yes. Thank you, Steve. I was not going to think of that. And yeah, it should be a great event. Hopefully the weather pans out for us so that it's at least a little bit warm during the day, and people will, come out and enjoy the event. Secondly, last week on Tuesday, we had members from the Main Street Oakland County team visit downtown South Lyon to do an assessment of the program. Just briefly, they kind of discussed the DDA's organizational capacity, how we could improve that to kind of move the program further in the Main Street Oakland County in that program. So right now we're on the second of 3 tiers, so we're right in the middle tier. We're going to be working probably in the next year or 2 to get to the select level, and once we get to that level, it will allow us to access a lot of different grants and technical expertise that the county provides. Third, Anne Vumo, who is the owner of the Lemon Tree in downtown, elected to not be reappointed to the DDA board. I just wanted to publicly thank her for her many hours of work that she's put in while she served on the DDA. She's instrumental in the Holiday Spectacular this past December, as well as the Ladies Night Out events, and she also serves on the design committee for the DDA. So just wanted to thank her for her service to the community and to the downtown. And finally, pending a background check, we will have a farmers market manager, hopefully, to announce soon. So that's everything I have for you tonight.
Councilmember Kurtzwell?
Yes, I wanted to ask a quick question. How are we doing on the doctor's office?
They are kind of just, waiting, doing their thing. So I'm not sure where they're at. Things as far as the pandemic and cash flow come into, take into consideration the progress that they're able to make on that building. So.
The only thing I'm going to do is express publicly my disappointment that the landowner is not making more of a commitment to the community. That corner has been a problem. I'm almost beginning to feel that this is now becoming a tax write-off for the landowner. Then we've seen this story play out before. The fact that you don't have a lot of status on it tells me that there's not a whole lot of communication between the landowner and the city. And then you go down a block and you see what Dan's doing, and we're just so blessed to have him. It's two different worlds. It's two different attitudes in terms of how they want to commit themselves to the downtown. I have heard from some owners that some other businesses in the downtown, here they are making an effort to improve their property, improve their facades, and improve their interior, provide variety in terms of the retail they're carrying, make it a point to add new, fresh paint on their outdoor windows. An effort was made last spring and summer, for additional plant materials in some of the businesses, and then you have that corner. It's not fair to the business owners that are down there, and I don't know how to solve the problem, don't know how to provide direction, and that's why hopefully the gentleman takes some time to look at our city council meetings and sit back and reflect on what I said tonight. Maybe he'll come to the table with more of a commitment to our community. Thank you.
Okay.
Councilmember Hanson, go ahead.
I just wanted to say I did see the boosted Facebook post. It was really great to see, especially when you're scrolling through social media and see it advertised, drawing in, maybe some folks that hadn't heard about it, being able to reach them that way. Is it just on Facebook and Instagram, or are you also branching out to other social media like, Twitter or anything like that?
We don't have a Twitter account, so it's not on Twitter, but
Okay.
there is some posts on Instagram as well. So
I think that's a great way to get the word out, especially with Facebook ads. You can set the radius and whatnot. So yeah, excellent.
thanks.
Councilmember Dill, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to know if we had updates on people just keep asking, on the Italian restaurant. I know that they had thought maybe March, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be March. I'm not sure a solid opening date. I've heard April, May, June, so
Okay.
hopefully sometime within the next 3 months. But, it's
Looking good, though.
Yeah, it's the pandemic world. They're trying to do things, and they get, supplies and materials as they can and do the work as they're able. So they're trying.
And is there any way to reach out to that owner? I mean, I concur with what Councilmember Kurzweil is saying. Can we reach out and just
Yeah.
see if there's any kind of plan or what they're going to do?
Yeah, I have contacted, so I have the contact information for the engineer that they've been using, and I've reached out to him a few times. So I'll see if he can pass me their phone number, and I'll give him a call and see what's up.
Thanks so much.
Councilmember Kibble, and we'll work our way back.
Yeah, we were walking downtown yesterday, and even the permits, they expired in '21. So, we should end up being a lot more active in getting them to it can't go on indefinitely. So I know that in the beginning we were trying to be mindful of the fact that COVID has made supply chains difficult to get materials and things of that nature. That's no longer the case anywhere near to the degree that, their walls are framed. All they have to do is start throwing some drywall and, rough in electric, and at least they'd be making some attempt. So I think it's a little disingenuous for them to just...
Yeah, I'll see what I can find out from them, and then I'll include that in my report.
Yeah, but 21. That's not okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Kennedy?
Well, just to follow on with what the other council members have said, this individual fails to be a good corporate citizen in that he consistently fails to remove the snow from the sidewalk in front of his location after every snowfall. It's a shame that the ordinance officer doesn't get out there more frequently to cite them on it, but it affects the whole walkability of the downtown because he doesn't have someone come and do that. So obviously, he's not showing much care for the downtown by his behavior, and I really hope that there's something we can do to kind of get him on board.
Sounds good.
Anyone else have anything else for Nate tonight? All right, thanks for the update, Nate.
Thanks.
All right, we'll move on to the fire chief report and the introduction of our new fire chief this evening.
Hello, thank you. I'm Joey Thorrington, and we met earlier, but I'm happy to be here. I'm really excited to be here. It's a great city. I've been here, I think, 4 or 5 days now working. The one thing's for sure that I can tell in a short period of time is that the city of South Lyon is very fortunate to have such a dedicated group of firefighters. They're all really welcoming and committed to the city, that's for sure. So. As far as incidents in the last 2 weeks since the last council meeting, we've had one fire. It was actually my first structure fire. It was over at 240 Brockwood Drive. It was an upper apartment. It was a stove fire. It was contained. Smoked out the apartment a little bit. The firefighters used a fan and brought in some fresh air and then took the stove out and removed it from the apartment. So we've had 1 mutual aid, 35 EMS calls, and 1 MVA, and 5 other false alarms, things like that. So 43 total incidents in the last 2 weeks. As far as fire prevention, we've installed 19 fire alarms in the last 2 weeks. Those are we brought, battery operated, 4 hardwired, and replaced batteries in 6 smoke detectors. Our fire inspector has inspected 11 different businesses and done 1 plan review in the last 2 weeks. So thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Councilmember Kivel, go ahead.
Do you still have a large quantity of fire alarms to be able to install?
I think today we counted 34.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah. And each residence has been taken 2 to 4, it seems like, for the most part.
Great.
Councilmember Kurtzwell, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Where was your mutual aid?
I believe it was Greeno Township. We
Greeno.
backfilled for them.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, welcome to the team, Chief Thorrington.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll head over to the police chief report with Chief Sovic.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. I've had the opportunity to speak with Chief Harrington a couple of times throughout this week and before he was hired. So, Paul, excellent choice, great pick. I really like him, and he's got my number. He knows where I work, so I think we're going to get along great. And super excited to have him back in there in the leadership position. So, welcome, good pick. Thor, I call him Thor. Apparently, it was Kindness Week. I didn't know that, but the young kids at the Bartlett Elementary students sent the police department like 80 of these super cool letters and thank yous. If you had a chance to see our Facebook post today, there was like at least 80 of these letters, and so shout out to the little people at Bartlett Elementary. It was so cool for them to do that for us, and we really appreciate that. And so, it's little things like this. We're talking about the community that we have, and so a lot of the officers that we have here, we don't leave because it's a great community. The people of this community are awesome. We have great support from the council, city manager, and the public services. So why would anybody want to leave South Lyon? So that's why the cops are here for a long time. And they don't leave. So it's a good thing. So I wanted just to give a little shout out to the assistant superintendent, Jeff Archie, for the DPW now. He's been working in that capacity for a couple of months now. I remember when he was a young kid and I was kind of chasing him around town back in the day 30 years ago, but it's really great to see him in a supervisory position. He's doing a great job, really good with communicating with the police department on things, and so I just wanted to say he's doing a great job. He's not here tonight, so. Cadet Tokarski's working out great, like we thought she would, doing a great job. We're going to be looking at hiring another cadet who is on the list already because our current cadet, Kyle Barron, is going to be leaving us April 1st. And so we have somebody on the list, and we're going to start training them sometime in March to take over for Kyle. And so he's also a great young candidate. So the generator you've seen is not our station quite yet. We heard that maybe sometime between April 13th and 20th is what we're looking at right now. So, and I'm not going to put any money on that. That's going to, so we'll kind of see how that goes. But other than that, it was a fairly busy, steady week. Nothing real serious. A couple overdoses that we saved, Narcan saves. So we're busy, but I'll take any questions you may have.
Councilmember Dill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wondered how the school officer is working out, if there's any issues or if it's...
No, he's actually going great. He actually, they were short on subs, so he actually got to teach a class.
No, that's
when
great.
he was down there at one point. So he kind of fills in, does a lot of things. From talking with the superintendent Archibald, he's got some great, I don't even want to say reviews, but the staff down here at both schools really, really appreciate that and what he brings to the table. So they're very happy to have him in there.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Councilmember Hanson.
The cadet that you're looking at, maybe starting in March, are they a South Lyon resident or Oakland County?
No, he is not. He comes from, he's close, but not, he's just on to the west side of us. So he's been working at the Livingston County Explorer program and working at Corrigan Oil, doing a lot of things. The guy's like a workhorse, so really excited to get him in the field that he really wants to get working into. So we're excited about having him, and I'll introduce him once he starts.
Excellent. Anyone else have anything for Chief Sovic tonight? All right, thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
We have no unfinished business this evening, so we'll move on to new business. Number 1, railroad crossing sewer easements.
The City of South Lyon is constructing improvements to its sanitary sewer system, which improvements include an extension of the sanitary sewer main and improvements to portions of the existing sanitary sewer manhole and sewer lines, including in the area through the properties commonly known as 415 North Lafayette and 606 Lakewood Drive. The city has made a number of attempts to attain the necessary easements from their respective owners. However, we have been unsuccessful to date. The city attorney has recommended we begin the process of acquiring the easements by eminent domain in accordance with the Uniform Condemnation Procedures, Public Act 87 of 1980. The first step in the process is the adoption of the attached resolutions concerning the acquisition of property and approving the declaration of necessity and taking for each property. Attached as Exhibit A to each resolution is a good faith offer to the property owners and any interested parties. The second step in the process is making of the good faith offer, which you will authorize by adoption of a resolution. The good faith offer will include the appraisal for each property, which appraisal supports the purchase price offered. Attached as Exhibit B to each resolution is the declaration of taking. Assuming the good faith offer is not accepted within 14 days, the third step in the process according to the declaration of taking at the Register of Deeds of each property. The final steps in the process is filing a complaint for condemnation in the Oakland County Circuit Court. The attached resolutions outline these procedures in more detail. We remain hopeful that the litigation will not become necessary, but we seek the authority to take whatever action is necessary to acquire these easements. We've attached a copy of the resolution, including Exhibit A, the good faith offer with appraisal, and Exhibit B, the declaration of taking. Possible courses of action to approve the attached resolutions concerning the acquisition of property and approving the declaration of necessity and taking 606 Lakewood and 415 North Lafayette. The city attorney and I are here to answer any questions you may have regarding this process.
Councilmember Kennedy, go ahead.
Well, this has taken a long time to get to this point, Paul. Certainly appreciate your perseverance in seeing it through. When we spoke earlier, you said that we also have the permit from CSX in hand.
That's correct.
To do the boring underneath the tracks. So once this starts moving along, we can actually go ahead and let the bid and actually begin the process then, and hopefully bring this to some point of conclusion. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I think, if everybody's taken the time to go through everything, it's pretty detailed. It's unfortunate that the entities haven't responded like you would have hoped that they would have responded, but obviously this is for the greater good of the residents in the city and is a step that we need to take. So I'll go ahead and I'd like to make the motion. To approve the attached.
Councilmember Kennedy, just one
Oh,
moment.
sorry.
It's hard to get the mayor's attention.
I apologize.
On resolution related to 415 North Lafayette Street, I have one modification. I don't know if that's the one you're going to make your motion on first.
Well, the motion says we're approving the resolutions collectively on the sheet here.
Oh, you should do them separately.
Okay, we can do that.
So with regard to 415 North Lafayette Street, the title company had made an error that I just happened to catch, so I'd like to add two entities, both to the offer that Paul will mail out and to the declaration of taking, to include, one, the heirs of Charles B. Pullum, and two, an international transmission company. So any resolution on that particular, any motion on that particular resolution, I would ask that you add that, and then you can approve the resolution as amended. And again, the two entities are the heirs of Charles B. Pullum and International Transmission Company. And we need them added both to the good faith offer and the declaration of taking, which are the two exhibits attached to the resolution. And I don't know if, I didn't get a chance to speak right before the meeting with Councilmember Kivel, so I'm not sure before that is called up what your plan is.
I was just going to abstain of the one.
So I don't know if that's the one you have in front of you, Councilmember, then maybe so that we can give Councilmember Kivel a heads up so that he can ask for an abstention.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and let's do the one on 606 Lakewood. Take care of that, okay? And then we can put the modifications in for the one on North Lafayette, and Councilmember Kivel can recuse himself from that one if he so desires. So let me go ahead and make the motion to approve the attached resolution concerning the acquisition of property and approving the declaration of necessity and taking 606 Lakewood.
I'll second.
Discussion?
We have a motion by Councilmember Kennedy, supported by Councilmember Hanson. Any further discussion? Councilmember Kurtzwell, go ahead.
Paul, well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This particular easement that is running on the west line of North Lafayette, that's the one we're talking about down there by
On the north side of the railroad tracks.
On the north side, yeah. Will this take care of that accumulation of water that sometimes runs across Pontiac Trail? Because now we're putting in I think it's going to be a larger diameter on that sanitary sewer.
This has no reflection on that. This is just sanitary sewer. That's the storm sewer on the opposite side of the street. So this does not take into account that.
So
that would be another project associated with the study that we're doing with HRC in relationship to the stormwater management that runs down Pontiac Trail or Lafayette.
And I think I also read, and I think it's for the benefit of maybe people who are watching, I read it on this one and on the first one, is that there was originally an easement that wasn't recorded, correct?
That's correct.
So it's not like we're going out, because I'm not a real fan of eminent domain, but I understand it for the public good, and clearly in this case, it's for the public good. But we already had an easement. For whatever reason, it didn't get recorded. So it's not like we're going out and taking somebody's property for the first time.
Well, the part on the north side of the railroad tracks, that section is actually being acquired for the first time. The easement that I believe that you're speaking of was actually located on the south side along the railroad tracks on the Pullum property. There is a temporary easement that was recorded, but the permanent easement was not recorded when we did our research, and that's why we are acquiring that permanent easement as part of this process to clean everything up.
Well, it says here that the taking is an unusual situation because it was never properly recorded.
Correct.
So it's not like we are actually going out We're just sort of cleaning things up a little bit and adding just a little bit more to that easement.
That's correct, because that easement that you see on the south side of the railroad tracks, that sanitary sewer line is already there. There should be a recorded document for that easement, but it is not recorded.
And this is the property owner that's in Staten Island, New York?
No, that is the property on the north side. That's the first one that was just made, the motion was made on the north side of the railroad
On
tracks.
the north side?
That's
Yeah,
correct.
Okay. So they're not here anyway. So they don't really care what's going on in the city of South Lyon.
Well, hopefully they do, having their properties, but yeah, it's been very difficult to get a hold of them. I've met with their representatives over a year and a half ago on that site, and we could not move this process along.
Well, then this is a clear case for eminent domain. Yeah. Thank you.
We have a motion by Councilmember Kennedy, supported by Councilmember Hanson. City Clerk Deaton, could you please lead us in a roll call vote?
Moser,
Yes?
Kurzweil,
Yes?
Dill,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Dibble,
Yes.
Kennedy,
Yes.
Felchat.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion passes. Councilmember Kennedy, go ahead.
City Attorney Hamami, I'm having a little difficulty finding the second resolution. Will it suffice to use the same wording for we used for the first one, with the addition of the fact that now will apply to 415 North Lafayette, with the additions of the heirs of Charles B. Pullum and, what was it, the which? International Transmission Company?
Yeah, they're similar, except that they're legal descriptions specific to each parcel.
Yep.
So, but
The motion would cover that, wouldn't it?
if you make a motion to pass the resolution that's titled, because underneath the title is where I have the address for each.
Okay, do you have a page
That's
number?
why you
Because I'm having,
designate
I'm having trouble locating that cover page for the second resolution, and if you know the page number there.
You could just say 415 North Lafayette, that should suffice.
No, I've got that.
That's the resolution.
Well, this is the entire resolution, and we just need to make the motion to take the resolution. How do you want it phrased, City Attorney Amame?
I mean, you could phrase it the same way you phrased it for 606.
Okay.
One moment,
It
one
would be
moment.
for 415 North Lafayette.
Good. And that's because you're going to put the revisions on here to include the heirs of Charles P. Pullum.
Yeah, so
And-
your motion is to make those changes
Right.
to the good faith offer and the declaration of taking, and then when you adopt the resolution, it's as amended, and then
Okay.
we'll take care of the rest.
Okay. Okay, so, well, first off, does Councilmember Kivel want to recuse himself from this vote?
Yeah, as a product of my being an employee of Pullum, I'm going to have to abstain on this.
Okay,
And there should be a motion on that.
to approve his, okay,
Yes.
Got to be unanimous, yeah.
okay. I'll make the motion that we accept Councilmember Kivel's request to be recused from the vote.
Second.
You want a roll call vote for that?
Probably should, yes.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. City Clerk Deaton, could you please lead us in a roll call vote?
Kennedy,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Dill,
Yes.
Kurzweil,
Yes.
Moser,
Yes.
Felchat.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Let me give this a shot. We'll make the motion to approve the revised resolution, which includes the addition of the heirs of Charles B. Pullum and the, was it International Transmission Company? For concerning the acquisition of property and approving the declaration of necessity and taking of 415 North Lafayette.
I'll support.
City Attorney Amame, is that good with that? Very good, thank you.
I'll support.
We have a motion by Councilmember Kennedy, supported by Councilmember Dill. Do we have any further discussion? Councilmember Kurzweil, go ahead.
Paul, on this particular easement, this is on the Pullum property. I actually went down there and took a look at it. The meets and bounds wasn't that difficult to figure out. This is also the case where there was supposed to be a recorded easement, and it never got recorded.
Correct.
So why is I'm just curious, why is Mr. Pullum upset? I mean, is it the price that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I thought you spoke with somebody, and he, or the appraiser did. The appraiser
The
did.
appraiser did. I did not speak with Mr. Pullum after the appraisal was done. I was speaking with him prior to the appraisal.
Because